All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Racing League Indy Series here at Dover. Scheduled distance going to be 100 laps. This is race number 8 of 12, and right now after race number 7, Eric Schaus has a 9-point lead over Craig Forsyth. As you can see, those two kind of run away with it here. You see they got 60 points, or from the lead, I should say, 60 points to David Payton. Matt Wagner 75, even with the 2 missed races. So Matt having still a really strong season, just really looking to get that first win here in the Area 51 League. And then you've got James Ledford, Michael Spell, Chris Jabot, Jim Brooks, Benjamin Combs, and Bud Steele rounding out the top 10 in the points. Drivers making their qualifying laps as things run. But that being said, so really lucky to have in the booth here with me tonight. I've got Steve Gottschalk again here. I know you've been trying to work on some laps a little bit with these cars, and it sounds like this one could be an interesting one with, it sounds like a slightly difficult setup at a very quick track here.
Happy New Year, Gael, and to everybody out there. Hang on one sec, because I'm doing a qual lap.
All right, well, we're going to let Steve run his laps. He's going to give us the most info he can here. As I say, it's going to be really, really helpful to have us, because he's kind of the wheel behind, or the man behind the wheel, to give us some good insight of what everything's feeling out on the cars. One thing I do know is it sounds like the fuel window is going to be roughly in the 40 lap or so range, and it sounds like cars actually might be running a little bit hot potentially. I think just probably if you don't have the clean air. Just to say, I think that dirty air sounds like the radiators may not have quite enough opening, so it's going to get those cars a little bit toasty. So it's going to be something else these drivers are going to have to keep an eye on while they're trying to get around this 1 mile track in under 20 seconds.
Okay, so here's my take on it. First of all, I had to make some adjustments to the setup, something we discovered before we came on the air. For some reason, the setup that they're using didn't pass tech when I was trying to use it solo. So I had to make some adjustments just to get it to pass tech inspection. I don't know how close I am to what they're racing, but I can tell you it's flat out all the way around. Um, Jim Brooks said that the car felt pretty loose to him. For me, with the adjustments I made, it definitely didn't feel loose. It was very neutral. But the biggest issue I had was getting into the turns. It wanted to cut in so quickly that it's very hard to keep it off the apron unless you wait longer than you think you have to turn in.
Oh, okay, yeah. And so when in a pack, it's going to be definitely something that's going to be tricky. Drivers are going to need to be aware of that one for sure. I'll say well, before we get things rolling, let's go ahead and go through our starting grid here real quickly. So it may have been a loose setup, but he was able to make it work. Jim Brooks going to get the pole here with a 18.550, 5 thousandths of a second quicker than Charles Teed in second. Matt Wagner third, Michael Spell fourth, Jason Bridges in fifth, Bud Steele sixth, Taylor Lane in seventh, and David Payton in eighth. 9th through 16th, we've got Corey Lane, Harry Wills, Craig Forsyth, James Ledford, Jack Walls, Gary Corley, Eric Schaus, and Joe Fierro. And then the remainder of the grid here, we got John Brill, Ivan Pla, Benjamin Combs, and Dwight Plesh rounding out our 20 cars entered tonight. So yeah, so it sounds like Steve, like mid to low 40s is going to be the fuel window. So say pretty much, I think you'll see at the halfway point of this race that might be kind of the deciding factor of when to make that last pit stop. We definitely seen some races, especially actually we saw one here at Dover where the fuel strategy wound up playing a big role in the race. Because we'll see how the setup is with this one, if it makes any effect or not. But I know before, just the track position's critical here. It was really tough to pass Ult to see if that comes into play again here tonight.
It kind of felt to me like they should be able to drive the car anywhere in the turns that they want to. I noticed watching some of the other guys, they were able to do it as well. And the draft is going to play a big role. And I actually think that if somebody's a little bit behind another guy and they're on the outside, I think they can get a good enough run with that draft to dive under the person coming off the turns. So we may actually see some passing here.
So that'll definitely be something we'll be keeping an eye out for. Say again, 100 laps is scheduled distance. Say if we go green, it's gonna be a quick one. Say these laps take less than 20 seconds a lap. I suspect we'll probably see at least one or two yellows. I'll say again, a lot of these drivers definitely familiar with each other, so we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how it all pans out. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be an exciting one. And say the other thing too with Dover is you gotta make sure that you don't get too much tire spin on the initial start with the big banking on the front stretch. We've seen a lot of times those cars just want to go right up to the top. And actually, I see. Oh yeah, we had some contact. I see Taylor Lane hitting the pits there, and I think Corey Lane may have gotten to the back of him there. So not a good start for those two drivers. As I said, they're trying to get those cars resolved right off the bat here. As we said, though, we take the green flag and we are underway. But yeah, not the start, though, for that 32 or the 10 that they were looking for.
Yeah, Corey Lane's missing the left front spoiler, and he stayed on the track.
Yes, I think he maybe wasn't ready to make that pit stop, though. So that being said, though, we are underway here. So these cars are already, by the time they hit turn number 4, already up to 200 miles an hour here, and Jim Brooks able to lead that first lap here. So you can see things single file pretty quickly. You can see already Jim, he's going to protect the bottom line. I think that's where you want to be here, but we'll see about that top line like we talked about. You can see Matt Wagner. He actually goes for the over-under there. Took the middle top. Oh, almost gets in the back of Charles Teed there, entering turn number 1. Rolls out of it there, but definitely a close one between the two of them. While just behind, looks like Jason Bridges and Michael Spell having a good battle here for the 4th spot.
That's exactly the kind of move that I was talking about. And it's actually not working out.
Well, saying it might be one of those things where it doesn't work right away, but it might work later on in the run. But the problem is right now for Corey and Taylor, they are both unfortunately already going to be 2, I believe 3 laps down just for having to get those damage repairs those cars. So definitely not the start that those two drivers were looking for. So they'll need some help to get back into this.
Yeah. So far, we've been green all the way, which is pretty excellent.
Yeah. However, though, Charles TV starting to try to make that top side work, as you talked about, Steve. You say he runs kind of the middle top there, and he tries to arc it back down. You see Michael Spell. He's trying to move up into this mix as well here. I say Matt Wagner now in fourth position. And I say now the battle looks like it's with Jason Bridges, and I believe next to him there for the moment. I'm trying to push the card number. I think that's Bud Steele also in that mix. So I say even though everybody's almost single file here, it's I can only imagine how dicey everything is right now for these drivers in this pack.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I noticed when I was out there in practice, even though you can go through cars in watch mode, um, it's very hard to stay off the car in front of you because of what the draft does and because of how you have to enter the turns.
Oh, and I saw it coming, and unfortunately, it did come into play, and we got big trouble there on the backstretch. I saw Greg Forsyth make contact with Jason Bridges, see Jason Bridges there as well. As they're running 2x2, and just unfortunately, Craig was not in a good spot there. Kind of got caught by that 34 machine. He's going to take a quick tow here. However, that's going to put us under our first caution on lap number 9. Let's go back and get a better look at that one, because they'd also collected some cars after the fact as well. So take a look. See, yeah, oh, it looks like Jason caught the apron there. That washed him up into the number 27 of Craig Forsyth. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Actually, coming out of 2, he makes pretty heavy contact, and that sends Craig straight into the wall. And then you can see, actually, it looks like it may have... Oh, yeah, there's actually contact further down between the 6 of Bud Steele, I think that was. But then you see other cars getting involved in this one. Looks like, trying to see, Jack Walls is in that, Benjamin Combs, 65, I believe that is, Gary Corley. And then also, like I mentioned, up further up, though, with the 34 machine, a few others got caught up in that one. However, I think the 72, Eric Schaus, had some quick hands here. We'll hop on board here. Let's take a look from his view. Yeah, I got straight down there and was able to avoid it. So good hands and good heads up by that number 72 car there to avoid that incident. Pit stops are underway, though, here, Steve. I'll say again, though, the short track here and how fast things happen, though, there's going to be a few drivers that are going to stay out. Some pitted there, and then some had to take a tow, so it's going to really mix things up here a little bit. And I believe Corey Lane got one of his 2 laps back, so that's going to put him just to 1 lap down here.
I'm looking back to see what exactly happened, and it actually was closer to the beginning part of the turn, where I think Craig just kind of cut it a little bit too close to Jason when they were going probably about the halfway mark in the turn, and just barely touched his Jason's right rear tire. And so then when they were coming off the turn, that caused Jason to slide up the track, and that's what really started the accident going.
Yeah, and that's things, I think, just how fast these things happen here. It's just really difficult to kind of do everything as fast as you can. Like I was kind of joking last night. They did kind of just a fun practice race with that new Dallara IR01 car at Watkins Glen, and I was telling like my brain couldn't work that fast to try to like get on the brakes, on the gas quick enough, because that car just has so much speed now. I feel like it's a similar situation here at Dover with you going 200 miles an hour pretty much throughout the whole track here, and then like you said, the draft playing such a big role as well. You're going to be right on top of these guys, and it's going to be tough to run really close quartered racing here.
It's really very much like a super speedway race.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way of putting it as well. So the one thing that few drivers may have going for them is normally they have just the one fast repair that they updated during the season. I believe for tonight they went ahead and stuck with 2 actually fast repairs just because of the potential attrition, which is, again, it's going to be a huge break for Craig Forsyth. Well, I shouldn't say huge break, as he's going to be trapped 2 down, I believe it looks like. So definitely not what he's looking for, but should something else happen, at least he'd still have another chance to recover from that as well. So right now, though, the 2 cars that are 1 lap down are going to be the 83 of Jack Walls, the 10 of Corey Lane. Then you got Craig Forsyth, Jason Bridges, both 2 laps down, and then Taylor Lane, who had that contact at the beginning before coming to green, he's trapped 4 laps down as things run. So 15 on the lead lap, and then 16th on back, 1 or more down here.
And this is one of those cases where the safest place to be is in the lead, where Jim Brooks is right now.
Yeah, and I think that's why he stayed out there. And again, we've seen races determined just from this pit strategy, depending on the green flag runs and such. So we'll keep an eye on that. Top 5 all stayed out. So Jim Brooks, Charles Teed, Michael Spell, Bud Steele, and Ivan Pla. Matt Wagner on back went ahead and pitted there for 4 tires fuel. So that's the next thing as well, is going to see, do tires make enough of a difference here? And then of course make sure that these tires hopefully still have decent grip on this restart as well.
I'd be surprised if this shorter amount of laps is going to make a difference on the tires.
Well, it also won't hurt starting through the trial, or not through the trial, but through turn 4 there. Once the pace car pulled up, Jim went ahead and got going early there. Gets a nice gap over Charles Teed. He's going to definitely give him some breathing room for a couple of laps at least. The other thing, though, is it prevents you from starting on the straightaway to avoid that tire spin like we talked about. So he's going to check out to about a half a second lead over Charles Teed. Michael Spell another about half second back, and then you got Bud Steele, Matt Wagner, the first of those on the fresh tires in 5th now.
It really separated the field. Curious to see like how long it takes them to close things up.
Yeah, so there's definitely a tale of 2 races right there. Up front, things look nice and calm, but a little further back, it is definitely dicey here. Say Joe Fierro right there in the 24. Oh, is he a big moment there? We see also see John Brill have a little bit of moments as well. He's right now battling with, I believe that is Ivan Pla in the 75. So I think, unfortunately, that staying out strategy for that 75 car not working to his advantage here early on. So you never really want to be that last one on the older tires. So we'll see. Hopefully he's able to kind of cycle through and get a little bit more comfortable. You can see these guys definitely moving around a lot right here.
Charles Teed got under Jim Brooks and is taking the lead. And the 2 guys behind him just drafted together up there, and they were all together. Now we got somebody making a pass on the outside there. Let's see who that was.
Yeah, you're right. You got Michael Spell. Oh, as I said, Michael Spell, say it was him and Bud Steele side by side, but now Michael's going to make contact and go right across the track into, I believe that was Benjamin Combs. We got trouble in the back as well. Drivers trying to react. I think that's another large hit there as well for Jason Bridges. So it's going to put us back under caution here. So like you're saying, Steve, let's say we got that lead change of Charles Teed while we're watching a little further back here. But then, let's say it all kind of kicked off. Let's say I think right there, Michael's just trying to hold the bottom too much. I think that's what wound up biting him there.
Yeah, he hit the apron. And
that'll do it. Yeah, these cars do not react well to the apron, and so we'll try to get a better look here. And they're right there coming off before he catches the apron. And immediately that car snaps around on him. And so you can see he's got it locked down, trying to see if he can just loop it back around. Almost does. Then unfortunately, while it's rolling, just let's say, and that's Dover to a T, is you just wind up pushing back down onto the inside wall, and that pushes you right up across the track. And unfortunately, in this case, right into the path of that 77 of Benjamin Combs. And then you'll see a little further back here, the 34. You see him start to react, and I think just maybe a little bit, too much rear brake in that car, and that just same thing makes it step out, and he makes out pretty heavy contact with the outside wall. But I think overall looks like just those 3 involved, which honestly is pretty impressive in itself there. So let's jump back to our leaders, because again, a few more drivers making pit stops, not a ton. Looks like the top 3 are now the only ones that are going to stay out. And I just saw the 83 of Jack Walls. He's going to get back onto the lead lap here. So that's going to give us now 14 cars on lead lap, while unfortunately that 88 and 77 had to take a tow. And so, it actually looks like Jason Bridges in 34 may have already retired from the event tonight.
Yeah, he got caught up in that also, and I saw him hit the inside wall, and I think that was it.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, all right, if I'm cupping both of the first 2 incidents here, this may not be my night, and I'm just going to call it ahead of time. So we'll keep an eye out. Say the only thing I could think of too is if it maybe is just the 1 fast repair instead of the 2. I'm not sure on that one. That could definitely play a role as well. If it was just the one, he would have been out of the fast repairs as well. However, that's going to put Charles T, like you said, Steve, he's now back into the lead, got around the 76 car. So right now, top three again have yet to pit during this race. Matt Wagner, let's see, Harry Willis, Eric Schaus, Joe Fierro, and John Brill. They all pitted under that last caution flag. And so they are in 4th through 7th. So they've got about 10 laps more fuel, fresher tires. And surprisingly, the 75, Ivan Pla, he did not pit there, Steve. He still stays out in the 9th position, so he's also still on his original tires. And now everybody behind him is going to be on just about 20 lap fresher tires and fuel.
I'm surprised he didn't pit there.
Yes, I would say same here. As I figured at that point, it's like, all right, I lost a bunch of spots. I might as well just pit. But yeah, so say kind of, I'm not sure on the strategy on that one. I mean, I say everybody's got their game plans though, so we'll have to wait and see. There are no tire limits here, so that's not part of it, which that would be a reason though for the strategies. And then on the lap down car situation, Corey Lane, Benjamin Combs are both one down. Benjamin somehow is able to get back going with just losing the one lap, so that's actually pretty good on his part. Craig Forsyth, unfortunately, we mentioned 2 laps down. And then looks like Michael Spell at the moment showing, I believe, 3 down. We'll see if it updates to 2 or not, depending when he gets out on track. And then Taylor Lane, we mentioned earlier, he's still trapped 4 down here. So these guys probably want just a long enough run to be able to get in front of the, maybe do a wave run. Oh, as you see, Michael Spell just getting out of the pits now, might be able to win that race off the pit road. Wait and see if he can get rolling there quick enough, because that would actually put him to 2 down, which would be a big difference for him.
Yeah, definitely. And based on how fast he's going, it looks like he got out just in time.
Yeah, it was close there. So, however, lights are off on the pace car. So, I'll say hopefully he did beat the pace car out of the pits, because, like I said, that's going to save him a lap. And we're going to get things back underway at lap 22 of 100. So, I say we're 80 to go now. We'll restart here with 79 to go at the line. So now we'll see, does Charles T, does he go as early as Jim Brooks said last time? Because it definitely worked in the favor of Jim. So let's see what Charles is thinking here on this restart. It seems like I think getting onto the power in the turn is definitely going to be better than on the straightaway, though.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. That's definitely what I would do if I was up there.
I looks like he's waiting a little longer there. He goes right as he gets to the turn 4 point. You see he uses that banking to give himself a little bit of an arc there. And again, give himself just a little bit of a gap there over 76. And say that's kind of seems to be the story of these restarts right now, as you get that nice little gap to keep things off. A little bit of a moment there for Bud Steele coming out of turn 2. Looked like it snapped a little bit loose on him. He was able to hang on to it there, still in the 3rd position. Oh, we got trouble in the back. Looks like, oh, it actually looks like it might be the 75. It is 75 with Ivan Pla. He does get involved in this one. So it's going to put us back under yellow. Could probably be a break for either Benjamin Combs or Corey Lane. We'll have to see who had the advantage there. Let's go see what happened to Ivan here, though.
I wonder whether I'm seeing a really fast closing rate of the car that ran into him. Wondering if the tires are making that big a difference now.
Oh yeah, you're right. He got contact from behind there. Trying to tell which car that is. So actually, got a couple of cars got through there. Oh, actually, looks like the other car was involved as well. So I think it's gonna be Taylor Lane in the 32. It is that yellow and black car. So Taylor Lane is one that got back into the back of Ivan. And yeah, that you might be exactly right, Steve. Say Taylor was on brand new tires there, I believe. So that those tires may have made that big of a difference, and just unfortunately heavy contact between the two of them.
I'm thinking either it's the tires or there was something seriously wrong with that car, because he was way off pace.
Yeah, definitely not what he would be hoping for there. Say looks like he's gonna definitely get trapped a lap down, as well as he's still getting his tow done. Same thing goes for that 32. So question now is, who is the wave around car? And I believe it's gonna go to Benjamin Combs. We'll wait and see as he comes through. So you'll usually see them jump to the top and start making their way across, but no movement yet, which usually happens at that first portion. So trying to see, because the leaders are all pitted. So I believe it should have been Benjamin or Corey, but not seeing anybody move yet to kind of initiate that. Yeah, Rachel, happy New Year to you as well. And honestly, this is a tough race to come back to. Honestly, I say, and actually, it's going to be the same thing on Thursday. It's they're going to be coming back and going straight to Darlington. So, say they're not definitely not having it easy for the first race back of the new year. So, say maybe trying to shake a little bit of rust off, but then also some real difficult tracks to start off at. It's actually showing the pits were closed there, so I'm a little curious on that. And actually, I'm seeing now 20. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's Craig Forsyth, Ivan Plaud. They're all pitting. But like I said, I thought Benjamin Combs would have been the wave around, so I'm not sure why. I don't think I saw anybody get the spot. Actually, there goes the. Is that the 83? No, he's not going. So for a second, I thought it was going to be Jack Walls, but it's almost as if nobody got a wave round this time.
I guess that's possible, but my recollection in the last big update they made, or the one before that, they had made the wave around a lot later than it used to be. So maybe they just didn't get it yet.
Yeah, it's possible. So yeah, I always thought it was once the leaders caught the pace car, that next time around is when it opens it up to the driver eligible. Which the way it works is basically the first car one lap down is eligible for it unless he was involved in the incident. So like in this case, it would be Benjamin Combs unless something had happened to him. If it wasn't him, then it would go to Corey Lane, and same thing if then Corey was involved, it would then fall to Craig Forsyth, Michael Spell, so on and so forth. So not sure why nobody wound up getting one here unless we may have missed it. But I'm pretty sure Dwight Plush was on the lead lap prior to all of this as well. So yeah, so say as far as I see, still 13 cars on the lead lap. We got 2 1 down, and then 2 drivers 2 down. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye and see what's going on there, and if we get another opportunity for one. But I'll say points wise, also this is going to be huge for Eric Schaus right now, showing in 6th position, while his championship competitors down into the 16th position. Also with the incident points, so there'll be no bonus points for a clean race for that 27 car as well. Alright, so lights are back off, so we're at a quarter distance here, 75 to go. Gonna restart with 74 to go here. Again, Charles Teed leading the way, still yet to make a pit stop. And again, the drivers talked about pit window being around 40-45 laps, and that's under green. So I'll say we've had about 12 laps under caution, so I would say that's probably stretched now to about 50, maybe 55 laps here. So I think at this rate, they can definitely get to that halfway point, which is going to be obviously a critical juncture in this race for the pit strategy as well.
Yep, and I'm showing the top 3 are all still on their original tires.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, those top 3 still in the original set, but right now still able to hold on to things. But that's going to be the question: is can Matt Wagner, with the fresher tires by about 10 laps, is that going to make enough of a difference? Right now, it seems like you said, Steve's track position is going to be king right now, and that's what Charles Teed has, as he's going to look to keep that distance from himself to the 76 of Jim Brooks.
I think based on what I've seen so far, if I'm one of those guys up front, I'm just going to kind of, or actually no matter where, I'm just going to kind of let things settle in for a little while, try and stay with the lead pack if I'm close enough, and wait till later in the race to really push things.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be the safer approach, but say right now we've got pretty much the top 6 all about to be jump together again. We talked about how quick the draft makes things happen, and that's what's bringing everybody back together. You see Jim, he looked to the top to see if he could get around Charles Teed. That doesn't work. It's going to open it up now for the 6 of Charles Johnson, who got loose off of 4 but hangs on to it. And saying that's going to open the door for a lot of these drivers now with the fresher tires. And see Matt Wagner on his way, Harry Willis, Eric Schaus, all right there in the mix, and not too far behind is that 24 Joe Fierro as well.
They're coming up on a lap car too, which is going to make things challenging if they're still side by side.
Yeah, here comes Bud Steele. He's looking to see if he can get to the inside, but looks like Charles Teed just had a nose ahead and just chops off the front wing there almost of that 6 car. So I'll say the aggression definitely has not backed off here so far, as we have a good battle here up front.
And that outside line definitely did not work out well for Jim Brooks. He slid all the way back to 6.
Yes, I think that might be almost a combination too of getting put in that position and just kind of going, you know what, I'm just going to fall back and regroup, let things, like you said, maybe let things settle out. And actually, as I say that, we're back in yellow. It looks like the 90 of John Brill. As I jumped to him, looks like he went ahead and took a quick toe. And unfortunately, I see the 77 of Benjamin Combs again as well on this one. Let's go see what happened to the two of them to bring out this caution. So it looks like it may have started with John Brill maybe being pinned on the inside here, coming through 3 and 4. Or did the apron strike again? So he looks like he's nice and low, doesn't quite touch the apron there. So we can get a better shot. There we go. Oh, no, it didn't catch the apron. Actually, it just looks like he lost a little bit of momentum. Gets a little loose off of 4. And then unfortunately, it looks like just... Yeah, actually, yeah, he gets loose off of 4 then while trying to correct it. So he catches the inside wall just a little bit there. And unfortunately, Benjamin Combs just really nowhere to go. And then, oh, somehow I think Craig. Oh, I think it's one of those damage situations that wasn't actually damage. Craig Forsyth, you can see the car showing really damaged here. So I think it's all going to pop back to normal here in just a second. Yep, there it goes. But he made a quick evasive action to avoid that incident there. So that could have been extremely damaging for him. I do see the 10 of Corey Lane. He is getting his lap back in that number 10 machine. However, what's going to hurt a few drivers here is a couple staying out here. Matt Wagner, Harry Wills, they both stay out, and which is going to trap a few drivers. They're probably hoping to try to take that wave round that we talked about, Steve. Let me see the top 3 here. Let's go to 38. Yeah, you can see actually 4th and 5th in line is Michael Spell and Craig Forsyth, so they were hoping to get that wave round there, I'm sure. However, Michael Spell looks like he had to make possibly had a pit penalty. He had to pit. He's now 7 laps down, Steve. John Brills, he's in the pits with his toe, and unfortunately, it looks like Benjamin Combs has retired from the event. So, I believe what might happen here is it actually might become that only Craig Forsyth is the only car, or the furthest car, I should say, up a lap down or more, being 2 laps down here as things run.
Yep. So he should get the waiver round.
Yeah, on future cautions, yeah, I think he would be the one that would be eligible for him. So honestly, if I'm the 27 car at this point, again, you're not in a good spot, obviously, being trapped those 2 down. We'll see about if John Brill gets trapped 2 or more laps down. But if I'm Craig, I think I try to load this thing up with fuel, because we're going to be at 66 to go here. If by chance we get a longer green flag run, you want to make sure you don't have to pit under green if a caution comes out in that cycle. So yeah, if I'm that 27 car, if I still have the option to pit, I think I'd take it here and try to jump in, get fuel in that car, and just at this point, honestly, just kind of ride, and just basically be out of the way of the cautions, pretty much.
Yeah, I would do that too.
So we'll see if he's got a crew chief that's got the same ideas as us. I mean, it's definitely. I'll say he might also. Well, no, I say he has to fall back to the back of the leaders anyway. So yeah, at this point, he's gonna be in the back regardless. So. And right now he is 2 laps down. John Brill's showing 2 laps down, still sitting in the pits as well. So yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see. I say the pits may be closed for him, so I think that opportunity may have passed already. But we'll wait and see. Hopefully, obviously Craig's gonna be hoping for a couple more cautions as a competitor to be able to get himself back into contention here.
So I guess the good thing is he's probably going to end up being the only car that's 2 laps down, which means that if there is another caution, he'll get the waiver round.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Looks like John Brill's still in the pits, so I think that just put John 3 down. So yeah, so you're right. He's going to be the first car a lap down or more, which is going to put him at 2 down. And then actually the next closest is going to be Michael Spell at 7 down, Taylor Lane at 8 down, pending what John Brill does here. As I mentioned, unfortunately, Benjamin Combs, Ivan Plott, and Jason Bridges have all retired, which right now we still have 13 cars on the lead lap. However, though, lead changed through the pit stop cycle. Matt Wagner, Harry Wills up front, David Payton, and then now Charles Teed, Bud Steele, Eric Schaus, Jim Brooks, those guys just pitting. So again, going to be a pretty mixed cycle on tires for this lead top 3 or so.
Yeah, now we've got a pretty huge difference in tires. The top 2 having pitted on lap 9, David Payton on lap 18, and Charles T, Bud Steele, Eric Strauss, Jim Brooks, and everyone there just lap 33.
Yeah, so I'll have to wait and see. So you can see Matt Wagner drops it down. Again, say gets about that half-second gap. That seems about to be about the norm here. But yeah, say another good start though for the leader, able to separate himself a little bit here. So we'll see now with Matt able to get that clean air on the nose of his car. That's going to be definitely what he's looking for. And Charles Teed wasting no time trying to get back to the front. However, already under pressure from the 6 of Bud Steele. So we'll see if those tires make a difference here up front with these leaders. Like you said, Steve, leaders top 2 are in about almost 30 lap old tires. And then from third place is on about 20 lap old tires. And as you mentioned, Charles Teed and Company just pitted there. So definitely going to be on about 15, 20, basically about 15 to 30 lap fresher tires.
It's interesting on the restart. Bud Steele got a really good restart, and he jumped to the outside of Charles T. And it looked like maybe there was a possibility he was going to be able to make that pass on the outside, but it didn't work out. Now we have Eric Schaus making a move on the outside.
Yeah, I'll say Eric Schaus went to the top. Looks like I believe that's David. I want to say that went up top as well. Say how? Oh, as I was about to say, the top did not work. Almost contact between the 6 and the 72 there. That could have been huge, but both drivers able to keep it going in the right direction. But yeah, that would have been a huge potential championship situation there for Eric Schaus. So he's able to bounce back from that there. He's going to get right back into line. And so that's the hard part you want to be in, because obviously you feel like you've got some speed and you want to go somewhere, but it seems like, again, that low line is definitely where you need to be. And I think that's where we see this pit strategy of these drivers that are staying out to try to keep that track position in front of them.
And it looks like we're having a little bit of accordion effect going on down on the bottom, with people trying not to let anybody get underneath them, and that's stacking things up so that Eric Schaus is able to get some momentum on the outside.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Charles Teed, though, he's definitely trying to make something happen. He's moved himself up into third now. Oh, almost a big moment there between himself and the 19. He's able to do the crossover there, get underneath Harry Wills. So now move Charles Teed up into second position. So we'll see if he can use those fresher tires on Matt Wagner or not. As Eric Schaus also able to move himself now up into that 4th spot. So looks like Harry may be playing a bit of a role here. So you can see that 19 really wasn't able to hold the line like he wanted to. But again, though, he's not in that clean air. He had a little bit of dirty air. Oh, big moment between the 19 and the 05 there coming off of 4, though. Charles has got to the rear wing of Matt Wagner, but as I say that, here comes that number 19 again, tries to duck inside, almost again, looks like he almost caught the apron there, able to hang on to it, but it's getting really dicey for that 3rd, 4th, 5th place. Battles is almost contact between Eric Schaus and the 19 car, and there is contact this time. He's going to try to hang out. The heat goes around, though. It's going to bring us back under yellow. Somehow, though, it looks like it's going to be a single car incident. That being said, though, this is going to be that break, though, I think, for Craig Forsyth that he was looking for. This is going to give him one of those 2 laps back. Let's go back and see. It was kind of a couple close calls between the 2 of them there. I almost wonder maybe a little bit of frustration played a role in this one, Steve.
And I wonder whether Eric got any damage from that. There's nothing visible, but they definitely made contact.
Yeah, so we're going back all the way to turn 4 here, the lap before. You see Eric peaking just a little bit high. He tries to see if he can make a move there. But you can see he washes up pretty bad there. Had to cut it down pretty aggressively there. And then you see has a look to the inside entering turn 1. The 19 shuts the door pretty aggressively there. Then I think almost has a change of heart, if you will, and gives himself some room. But then as they go through 3 and 4, though, this is where the contact occurred. You see Eric pretty much just maybe a half a groove up. That's what you got to do. You got to arc this turn pretty much. But then coming off the turn, you see actually, I feel like that's the 19 coming down on the 72, if anything, honestly. But unfortunately, and probably a little bit of net code as well as for the 2 of them there as well. As with these cars, it's hard for that not to happen. So we are back under yellow again. Mixed strategies with the leaders here while we're going under that caution. And as we said, there goes Craig Forsyth. He does get one of those 2 laps back, so he's now just 1 lap down. However, though, Steve, he's going to have to compete, though, because Harry Wills in that number 19 car, he is back on track here. And so he's going to be 1 lap down as well. So that 27 car is going to have to race that 19 to get that last lap back.
Okay. Matt Wagner pitted out of the lead there. I wonder if he's playing a little strategy here, like thinking he might be able to make it the rest of the way with one or two cautions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good potential, Steve. I think that is something that could happen. I say he's got some company with him there. He's got Jack Walls, Bud Steele, Corey Lane, James Ledford, Dwight Plush. They all pitted there. I say David Payton actually did not pit. He's on 30 laps now on this run, so I'm a little worried about that 38 car. It's that third car in line there. I don't feel too confident about how many more laps he can run. I mean, we talked about the yellows being 40, 45 lap range on the fuel window. But I mean, even with that though, I mean that's going to give him, let's say, maybe he can go about 20 more, I would say. So let's say that would get him to lap 70, maybe 75 at the best.
I'm surprised that he didn't pit just because it looked like he was kind of struggling compared to the guys with much fresher tires.
Yeah, and it's a similar situation we saw with the 75 Ivan Plot too. We're like, okay, yeah, he's definitely going to pit now, and then he doesn't pit, and so yeah, so, and I think Matt Wagner, I think that's the right call for him. I think this puts him right on the edge of the window. However, I don't think he can top off here on the window. He can't risk the extra track position loss. However, if you're a Corey Lane, James Ledford, if you're one of those last cars on the lead lap, I'd absolutely top off here. You never know, that extra half gallon that could come into play, and that can make a difference between having enough fuel to get to the end of this race or not.
Yep, definitely. I would do that too. Let's see if we have any takers.
I feel pretty confident Dwight Plush will say. Dwight seems to be one that definitely wants to keep it full of fuel. And as I said, yeah, here comes Dwight, here comes James. Does Corey follow suit with them? He does not. So Dwight Plush, James Ledford, they're going to top off here, as I believe. Yep, we're going to get the one to go now. So it's going to, lights are back off of the pace car. So right now we've got our top 6 drivers on slightly older tires, about 15 laps older than Matt Wagner, except for David Payton, who's got about 30 lap older tires in that third position in the number 38 machine. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on and see how his car's going to be handling things. And then you mentioned the potential damage to the 72 of Eric Schaus. From our vantage point, it looks clean. But I say that's always, with these cars, they're so sensitive. Any little bit of damage, especially with this updated damage model, could really wreak havoc with the handling of that car. So hopefully that car is in good shape though. Say he's definitely trying to get that track position now. Say started 15th, now up to 2nd. So definitely moving the right way forward for him.
When I was out there in practice, I scraped the outside wall once on one of the straightaways, and I didn't see any visible damage. I didn't feel any damage, but it seemed like my car was a little bit slower after that happened.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So probably a little bit of drag. See these cars, again, super aero sensitive as they come out of turn number 4. Charles Teed back on the gas here. He's going to lead things here as we just cross the halfway point. 50 laps to go in the race. Again, we think that fuel window might be in the 40-45 window range. So if these drivers can somehow save 5 laps of fuel, some of those drivers that pitted at the end, that could be all they need to get to the finish. I'm also seeing the 10 of Corey Lane. He's actually hitting the pits here under green. Not sure if he had an unsafe pit stop or not on his end. So that's going to drop him a lap down now. Again, we talked about that battle for the Lucky Dog right now. Say, I believe it's the 19. Yeah, right now, the 19 of Harry Wills. He has a Lucky Dog spot over the 27 of Craig Forsyth. So Craig's going to have to work hard here to try to get that spot.
And for now, at least, David Payton's hanging in there really well with those old tires.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dave's actually trying to pressure the 72 of Eric Schaus. As you see, Eric looks like he's trying to get himself a little bit of an arc entering the turn. The problem is, again, you want to get some clean air on the nose of these cars. Again, we've mentioned once, haven't kind of gone quiet on it lately, though there is that potential of these cars running a little bit hot. And it's saying if you're going to be right on the wing of that car in front of you, I mean, you're just going to be getting all that hot air off the exhaust of those cars and not getting fresh air into the radiator. So that's definitely one risk of getting those cars hot.
And we just had a major stack up front.
Yeah, so it's definitely, I said we've got about the top 6 altogether, and actually looks like now the whole pack's about to join the party here. So I think we've got from, I want to say, it looks like Gary Corley's the last car trying to catch onto this train here. So pretty much Bud Steele on up though. Was Jack Walls, oh no, that's not Jack Walls, I'm sorry, that is that's Taylor Lane, I believe almost had a moment there. So similar black and yellow paint schemes there. However, up front, though, things are getting dicey here. As now David Payton's trying to make some moves here underneath Eric Schaus. Jim Brooks right behind them in that 4th spot.
And there's about 15 laps of difference between their tires. So apparently 15 laps doesn't make that big of a difference.
Yeah, as in it could be a combo of, okay, yeah, I've got slightly older tires, but I'm lighter on fuel, and we know these Indy cars are super fuel sensitive, so what you're going to see a lot of these drivers do is once they get to the window to make it to the end, they're going to put the bare minimum of fuel to make it to the finish here. As you can see, David Payton, he's now got to the rear wing of Charles T. Going to see if he can make a move. I think we're going to see the same thing, though. If he gets to that top of that number 05 car, that's going to open the door on the inside again for Eric Schaus to peek back inside.
That was a really good point about the light on fuel kind of counterbalancing the age of the tires.
Yeah, so I'm still keeping an eye on that lucky dog position battle right now. Harry Wills still hanging on to it. Craig Forsyth, they are right on top of each other basically, though, on track. As you can see, David Payne peeked to the outside, couldn't make anything happen, so he ducks right back in line here. I think what we're seeing here, Steve, is just there's not quite enough straightaway length for these cars. You get the run, you get the momentum, they just don't have enough time. Oh, as I think I just saw one car may have blown a motor here. So they're trying to test. So it looks like a black. I think was that? No, it's not the 99 about Wack. No, I thought I heard a car blow up, honestly, but it's like everybody's back up to speed, so I'm not sure what may have happened there.
maybe you're hearing things.
No, I heard something and I thought I saw black smoke, but whatever it was, we're still going. So yeah, so I definitely say, or I don't know, maybe I've got some things that are just popping up in my head here. So however, though, I also noticed that Jack Wallace, he's gone around Jim Brooks here. So now move Jack up into that 4th spot, Jim to 5th. And then we mentioned Taylor Lane in that 32 cars, multiple laps down, but say the car is still definitely strong. And say honestly, he never really had a chance to show what he had, just having that contact at the beginning of the race coming to green. So I think for him, it's just maybe trying to get his feet wet. Say running with the new league here, get familiar with everybody. Oh, David Payne really high off the outside. However, Steve, that top line I think is starting to come in here.
It's really interesting. He's pretty much making that work.
Well, you mentioned it, so you felt like the momentum might happen at the top line, so I say it might just take some time for those tires to wear, and that's when it really kicks off. As I think David Payne may have just caught the wall there. Actually, yeah, I saw a piece of the car come off here as well, so we'll see if the car is able to handle okay. However, close moment for that 38. You can see he's going to drop to the apron. Yeah, you can see that right front end plate damage to his car. So what's going to happen now, though, is it's really shaking on the field. Now we're under caution here. I think it's actually unrelated to that. I think it's John Burrill in the 90. He's the one that went around. And I believe at the time of the caution, we'll have to see who had the position between that 19 and the 27, because I think it was close between the two of them. So first, let's see what happened to bring out the yellow.
I don't know if you noticed, but Eric Schaus got caught up in that the first thing.
I did not. We'll go back and check that out as well. Thank you, Steve. All right, so you see John Burrill, just gets loose off of 4. And so you can see he's trying to catch him. By the time he does, he catches the inside wall. Heavy contact for him. And then what I want to do is I want to jump over to that battle for the lucky dog position. Because actually, that 27 Craig Forsyth, he's missing his left front end plate here. So he had some damage at some point in this event. And you're right, actually, Eric Schaus had a moment here as he's slow on the backstretch at the time of the caution. And I think that actually may have been between himself and the 90 of John Burrill. I'm not sure where the caution flew between the two of them. It could have been either situation there, but what happened to Eric?
I forgot, who was it that hit the wall coming off the tank? Oh, Peyton.
That was Peyton, yeah. Oh, you're right. Eric was right. Oh, yeah, Eric made heavy contact as well. So you just kind of in that arrow wash. And so then Eric got kind of stuck on the wall, then able to get it off there. But yeah, definitely some suspension damage to him. So that's going to also affect his chances of the no incident points. But we'll see as he comes through the backstretch here. Yeah, I'm not sure what happens. He kind of just comes to a stop there and then gets rolling again. So I'm not sure what happened to the 72 car there. Maybe with the suspension damage, I'm not sure. So, however, let's jump back up front. As I said, I want to see, I believe Bud Steele now showing as our leader, and through the pit stop cycle he actually took fuel only under this caution flag. And then Trying to see Craig Forsyth. He's right now tail end of lead lap. He's still got that end plate damage on his left front wing. And then, okay, so Harry Wills in 19, he got the lucky dog because he's now back in the lead lap and he's at the tail end of the field here. However, what Craig is doing here, though, is he's going to stay out even with that damage, get his lap back, and then he's got to bank on yellow to get himself back in contention here. I mean, we've got, let's say, we're at 33 to go here, so I mean, there's still plenty of time for stuff to happen. Pretty much the whole field here now is going to be under the same pit cycle as well. So that's going to, I think, definitely keep this pack a little bit closer together also.
I think that's a pretty good gamble for Craig Forsyth because chances are we're going to have another caution before this thing's over, and he probably won't get lapped before then.
Yeah, so as long as the car's handling okay enough for him not to get lapped, I'm definitely on board with the pit strategy. It seems like he definitely had the damage there for a while under this run. So, unfortunately, don't know what happened to him. I'm going to guess it was probably contact between himself and the 19 as they were right on top of each other pretty much that entire run there. But yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. So with that though, once we see that 27 get the waiver run, actually, as I said, he's going to hit the pits now. Hopefully the pits weren't closed there. I'm a little surprised he does this though, Steve, because like you said, I mean, he had the track position there, but maybe that damage was just too much for him to feel comfortable doing that strategy, or maybe he also may have realized that he's actually the only car one lap down at the moment.
Yeah, although this would have put him on the lead lap. If he stays one lap down, then he's got to hope for another caution so he can get the lucky dog.
Yeah, it's definitely accurate. So we'll wait and see. I mean, we'll have to see how it pans out. I think what we'll see though is he's going to save the fast repair because you can see. Yep, there. Okay, there's the wing. Okay, so that got fixed up for him. So he got a new front wing on his car. So he is the only car one down now. So that's going to at least give him that opportunity. But I mean, again, he's just at this point now. If you're that 27 car, I just give plenty of room to these cars around you and just stay out of the way of anything around you and just try to keep that car clean. All right, fuel wise though, I think everybody's good to the end from here, Steve. The only question mark might be Harry Wills, who had that wave around. He did not pit there. Not sure if the pit wasn't open for him or not, so we'll keep an eye on him. He might have to pit for fuel. However, though, Bud Steele fuel only on that pit stop. He is our leader, and he is down and away as we get things back going here with 31 laps to go.
And I am showing Harry Wills. I think he pitted last with about 54 to go, so it's going to be pretty tight on whether he can make it or not, depending on cautions.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on that. So right now we've got pretty much an even match here up front with the fuel and tires versus fuel and no tires. So even though Bud Steele's good to go on fuel here, the question mark is going to be, does he have the tire to hold off that number 05 Charles Teed? Charles has been one of the few to make a pass here. He was able to get the lead over Jim Brooks, so I'll have to keep an eye on him. Right now we've got the top five all right here in a little hornet's nest. Himself, Jack Walls, Jim Brooks, Matt Wagner. Saying not too long we're going to see David Payton join this party as well. And saying it's going to, like you said, it's going to almost be a super speedway race here at Dover.
Yep, but it's probably almost about go time. I'd give it another probably 5-10 laps.
Yeah, I think at this point you got to try to get what you can here. But again, I think the inside line is going to be where you have to be. So I think that's what we're seeing here is watch from the back of Bud Steele. He's protecting the inside line. He's got Jack Walls behind him. So we saw Charles Teed. He went to the top, but he just doesn't have the momentum to do what he needs to up there at the moment. As now you see Jack Walls, he's going to peek to the top. So I suspect, yep, there goes Charles Teed. He's going to jump to the inside. So I think they're going to wind up swapping positions just by someone wanting to have that fresh air on the top side and trying to make something happen here.
And it does look like we're starting to see a little
contact
bit
between the
no!
Big wreck here. It's like we have three of the leaders involved there. So you see Charles. I thought I saw Charles Teed spin afterwards, so I think it's going to be Bud Steele there, and then the 83 of Jack Walls, and yeah, the 05 of Charles Teed is caught up in this as well. That's going to be the break that the 27 of Craig Forsyth was looking for. So as long as that car wasn't involved, saying he looks like he is clean, so that's going to be a huge break for him. It looks like it's going to cycle Jim Brooks out into the lead here now with that. So let's go back and see what happened to kick all of this off. I say it looked like just a little bit of contact between a couple cars there as they were starting to fight hard for position there up front.
I'm showing Charles Teed trying to get underneath of Bud Steele. I can't tell if they made contact or not, but he got under him, and Bud washed up the track and hit the wall coming off the turn, and that's what caused it.
Oh yeah, just a little bit of right front to left rear corner contact between the two of them, and that's what washed up Bud Steele. And then unfortunately with that, it kind of bounced him into the outside wall. And again, this is Dover to a T here. Just comes across, catches Jack Walls, and it looked like for a moment that Charles Teed was going to get away with it. But then it looks like he made a little bit of contact, and you can see the car stepping out on him. He tries to correct it, but then unfortunately it snaps around on him as well, to send him down into the inside wall here as well. So we'll have to keep an eye, make sure he doesn't bounce back up across the track. Doesn't look like he ricochets off it too bad there, actually. So I think it may have just been him. Oh, close call between the black and green car there with him, though. So yeah, so say I just see Craig Forsyth. He's flying around the track here now. He got his lap back. And say drivers in the pits, you see a couple of those involved right now coming out of the pits. Charles Teed in the 05. Jack Walls as well, and then I think I just saw Bud Steele come out as well. So yeah, so all of them are able to hold on to the lead lap, so that's huge as well, Steve. But the big story is going to be on the point side of things. Craig Forsyth finally getting back onto the lead lap in that number 27 car. However, going to be 13th on this restart, while his competition for the points lead in the 72 of Eric Schaus is in the 3rd position.
And I'm thinking if I'm Craig, I probably pit here, get fresh tires.
Yeah, as long as the pits are open for him, yeah, I definitely agree with you to say this is the time to do it. And at this point now, it's just, I mean, this is going to be pretty much, yeah, it looks like Craig's going to hit the pits now. So like you said, he's going to grab some fuel or some tires in that car. Again, probably doesn't want to fuel, got to keep it as light as possible. So next potential beneficiary is going to be Corey Lane now in the 10 car. He's 2 laps down, so he'll be able to be in contention here if he can get a couple more cautions. But yeah, so up front though now, pole sitter now back into the lead, Jim Brooks in the 76. Matt Wagner started 3rd. He is up to 2nd. And then we got some cars that have made some big gains throughout the race here. You got 3rd and 4th started 15th and 16th respectively with Eric Schaus, Joe Fierro, Gary Corley from 14th to 5th, James Ledford from 12th to 6th.
And Eric Schaus, despite that wall hit and taking on that damage, he's done a good job getting back up there.
Yeah, that's a quick recovery to get back up to 3rd position, honestly. So yeah, really, really good recovery for him, and quick recovery as well. And also the 19 of Harry Wills, we mentioned how he was fighting with the 27 car to get his lap back. He's now up into the 7th position as well. So a lot of cars moving forward after having some incidents early in the race.
Yep, and he's I guess the first one of the cars that pitted on this round. So he's good to go the rest of the way, and he's got 10 lap stretcher tires.
So actually, I'm looking at the pit stop here, and I think he just took a splash of fuel because he had a 2.3 second pit stop. So I think he kept his tires, and he just wants just enough fuel to get to the end here.
Okay.
However, though, Steve, that's another thing to mention is, so are these drivers, are they basing their fuel off of lap 100, or are they giving themselves a little bit of leeway with the potential of, we have up to 3 green, white, checkered finish attempts here at Area 51?
That's a good question. Hopefully they gave themselves a little extra.
Yeah, well, I was saying, that's the other thing we'll be able to see, though, too, is we've seen some drivers, they start burning off fuel in their cautions if they feel like they overfilled. So I think right now probably everybody's in fuel save. But then if we get another late race caution towards the end of this one, I think we'll definitely see some drivers start burning off some fuel. You'll see them kind of just revving under caution. So we'll keep an eye out for that. However, though, let's say again, up front, top 3 are Jim Brooks, Matt Wagner, Eric Schaus. So we'll see what they're able to do here. Say Jim's got the track position he was looking for again. So now he's going to have to fight hard, though, to hold off that hard charging 99 again. Matt's going to want to get his first win in this series. He's been close so many times, but just hasn't been able to break through yet. So we'll see if tonight's the night for him. As Jim Brooks drops it down, he is down and away. You see, again, uses that banking to his advantage there. Just get that little bit extra speed here as he hits turn number 1.
Let's see, we got 20 laps to go. Let's see how long
Yep.
before they all catch up to each other.
Yeah, I was saying that's the next part here. So yeah, so let's say this time by we're gonna be at 20 to go. So let's say we're gonna jump another lap, maybe a lap. Let's say actually half a lap probably. And say he's gonna have his mirrors full of that number 99 of Matt Wagner. And then let's say then that thing I think it's just gonna be protect mode for the 76 car. He's just gonna have to hug that bottom line. Let's say the only thing he might have going for him is if he can maybe let it wash up just a little bit, not enough to let. Oh, as I said, we have a caution back out. Looks like the 65 of Gary Corley. It's like he's already taken a tow and heavy damage to that machine. So I'll say we didn't get a long run in there. So I'll say it's actually, I think, a good situation here for Jim Brooks to be able to give himself some pretty quick time to recover and not have to worry about cars around him. But let's see what happened to Gary here as they're coming through turns 3 and 4. See him arcing it down to the inside. Everything looks normal from here. Yeah. Did I jump too early or not? I think I did.
I'm showing, is he in a yellow car?
Gary Corley is in a like kind of a grayish and green. Oh, it's gonna be contact to himself and the 19 may have actually been net code, and saying just pushes him straight up into the wall. Heavy contact for him. See if we can get a better angle here and see if it was actually net code or not. So I don't know if they actually made contact here. Yeah, it was close, but yeah, it kind of looked like the 19 got in there, and I don't know if he actually washed up or not. But yeah, so that's where the contact came between the 19 and the 65. So Gary, of course, getting the worst end of that one. The one benefit for a driver is going to be the 27 Craig Forsyth. He's going to now be able to restart here with the leaders. That's going to be a big break for him. And then also a break for Corey Lane. They're going to be now just one lap down in that number 10 machine. So he's just got to try to get one more here to get back onto the lead lap. And what's going to happen now, Steve, though, I think is going to bring us to about just under 15 to go on this restart. So say it looks like pretty much no takers other than Dwight Klesch in the back. To say he was pretty much the last car in the lead lap, so I think he's just trying to keep himself clean. And again, I mean that's going to give bonus points. I mean if you can get the 0 incident point race, I mean you're going to have, I think it's 2 or 3 bonus points, and all those points really add up. So I said at this point there probably are not very many drivers that have had a clean race tonight.
And actually, there was an accident on the restart, which I thought had brought the yellow out, and that was between Charles Teed and I'm not sure who. I'll tell you in a sec.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, the 05 Charles Teed, he looks like he's actually retired from the event, so you're exactly right. We actually have a little bit of time here, so we haven't got the one to go yet, so I'm going to try to hunt that down real fast here. So it looks like it was a yellow and black car. I think it may have been Jack Walls. Actually, almost similar situation there, and yeah, it looks like Jack got underneath him. Gary looked like he tried to kind of went low. I think it was honestly just drivers going for the same real estate there. But yeah, so say then heavy contact for Charles Teed, I should say. I think what happened was by the time he really slowed down, the field had already passed him, and then he looks like he went ahead and disconnected pretty quickly there. So you're right, that's exactly what happened to them on that one. So it didn't bring out the yellow, probably should have, but then similar situation that lap later with Gary Corley had this pretty much the same thing happen with himself and that number 19 car. So unfortunately, two black and yellow cars having contact with someone in front of them to cause those cautions.
Yes, black and yellow is a bad color to have tonight.
Probably going to depend on who you ask, I suppose. So we'll have to wait and see how it all ends out, though. So yeah, so we are on 16 to go, so we're actually going to restart exactly with 15 to go on this restart. So say we have had 8 cautions tonight. I say it's been definitely a wild one. I said drivers have been away for a couple of weeks, a couple of fun races here and there. But yeah, so I think to come back to a track like this at Dover has definitely been a challenge for these drivers. And then, like I said, on Thursday for the Cup Series when we come back there, Darlington. So let's say they're going to have their work cut out for them. So championship battle, the 72, Eric Schaus, he is still showing in 3rd. Craig Forsyth now in the top 10 in the 27 car. So we'll see if Craig can make his way forward. And say, again, Eric's just going to try to, I think, I think at this point, just try to keep it clean. Try to keep a top 3 or so finish. So the main goal, of course, is to keep that 27 car in his mirrors.
And it's definitely going to be go time now.
Yeah, if you get a run, you're taking it. So you see Jim, as soon as that pace car is off, he went ahead and he dropped it and went. Again, Eric Schaus, though, great restart behind the 99 of Matt Wagner. Say Jim didn't get as big of a restart here, so I think we're going to see Matt Wagner get up to his rear spoiler here, not too far away. So we'll see. So probably another lap or so where they'll get up to them, and then it'll be Joe Fierro, Harry Wills. They'll join this party as well. And then again, it's going to be, I think, just for the 76 car, he's just got to protect that inside line, make Matt work the outside, and just hope that he can, I think at this point, just try to hold on to it. So we've seen Matt do that over-under move pretty nicely, get some good momentum. So Jim just has to make sure he doesn't get tricked by that and kind of get kind of complacent and wash up off the exits.
Yeah, because you look at the run that Matt's getting off the turns. Jim has definitely got to protect the bottom line there.
Yeah, Matt's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's getting that big run off the exit of the turn and tries to cut it underneath. There's almost contact between the two of them, entry of 3. Say Matt's able to recover nicely though, but yeah, this is where Jim's gonna have to be careful, because you can see he's right now kind of running the middle of the track there. The thing is though, if he does that, that definitely going to open him up to get kind of some of the slipstream under him. As you see, Matt just takes a peek, doesn't quite have enough to make it happen there. As Harry Wills, he's moved himself now up to that 3rd spot, moved the Eric Schaus back to 4th. And you can see it's, again, here comes everybody. It's a hornet's nest here up front for pretty much the top 10.
Yep, I think Eric may have had to back off a teeny bit when the 2 cars ahead almost made contact. And,
almost contact again.
Oh no!
Oh, we have a big incident here. All other cars involved too. Actually, looks like about 6 involved. I'll say it looks like Eric Schaus was one. Trying to catch the rest of the cars because there's a lot of them. Also, did actually catch up Craig Forsyth as well. He's able to get that car rolling forward. We'll see if Eric can limp that thing back or not. Looks like he's going to have to take a tow, so this is going to change the championship picture here tonight. Let's say we'll double check to see. I think Dwight Plush maybe he did. See Bud Steele, he's saying that car's running. He's just going to ride the wall, keep the momentum up to try to not have to take a tow. This is going to put us under caution, though, with 10 to go here. So let's go back and see how this all kicked off, because it looked like it was just a heavy battle between, I believe that was the 72 and the 19. I think just aggression got pretty hot and heavy there.
I think actually it looks like Jack Walls, the yellow and black car, got into the back of Eric Schaus coming off the turn there.
Oh, let's take a look. I may have missed it from my angle. So we're looking at now on the replay. So you see the 19 and the 72, they're side by side here entering the turn, but you can see, yeah, plenty of room between them. Oh, actually, Eric just touches the apron there in 3 and 4, probably costs him a little bit of momentum. And so we'll see. So it's either contact between the 83 and the 72, or it might be some more of that dreaded net code. But the question is, though, okay, so the 19 does get through Harry Wills, and looks like David Payton, he sneaks through, as is Joe Fierro. But then from there on back, though, so you got James Ledford, he gets caught up in that one. As mentioned, 83 of Jack Walls, Bud Steele, Craig Forsyth, he's in it as well. And then I believe that is Taylor Lane, 32, also involved in this one. So, yeah, a lot of drivers involved. I think Craig might, I see just rear wing damage to his car. I see a few others able to sneak around there. I see the 10, Corey Lane, he got by, as did the 44, Dwight Plesh, as did Michael Spell. So let's jump back current, though. Let's see if we can figure out where everybody is here, because that's going to take a lot to update here. So actually, pace cars just about to start finish line. I see a lot of cars in the pits. So there goes Craig Forsyth. He's oh, that car, I don't know if it's tracking straight. Let's hop on board here. It is not tracking straight.
No, it's a handful.
He's just doing what he can to try to get points here, I think, tonight. So it makes me think he may be out of fast repairs in that 27 machine. Maybe just the one. He's going to try to manhandle that thing around. So right now, though, I'd say we'll update our driver standings here. Jim Brooks leading, Matt Wagner 2nd, Harry Wills 3rd, David Payton 4th, Joe Fierro 5th, Dwight Plush in 6th, Corey Lane in 7th, and then Craig Forsyth in 8th, the last car on the lead lap. And I think that's what Craig's goal is here, is to try to just see. Again, he needs to get every point he can. I believe it was a 9-point gap between himself and Eric Schaus going into it. And so right now with that contact, that's going to give him a couple of points over that 72 car. So that being said, though, unless Craig has another faster pair available, I don't know if he's going to be able to wrangle that car for another 8 laps or so, because it is driving at about at 30 degrees, not where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, there's definitely no way he's going to be able to drive that without some kind of repair. So either a lengthy regular repair, and it doesn't look like he's getting a fast repair.
Yeah, so the problem is he's about to get trapped another lap down here unless he gets going quickly here. But I think at this point he might just be kind of taking his lumps and say, okay, you know what, this is too risky to do. And I think, yeah, so he's going to get trapped a lap down here. However, Eric Schaus is back on track. He's only 2 laps down, so they might still wind up right together again in the points. So we'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out. That being said, though, we've got a restart here coming up, Steve, with 6 to go. And again, we talked about the fuel mileage. That could put us into green-white checkered territory. So I said pretty much the next yellow, I think, would put us in that window. So I'm not sure what you're looking for. I think if you're a 76 car, you might want one more quick yellow. That way you can have that green-white checker attempt, because you can use that restart where you kind of jump ahead a little bit to help build that buffer to avoid getting that attack from that 99 of Matt Wagner.
Craig he definitely did not have a fast repair, and he didn't get his suspension fixed because that car's still all over the place.
Yeah, I still see him sitting in the pits as well here. So I was curious to see if he's going to try to get out at least. Oh, yeah, there he goes now. He's going to try to be the only car 1 down, I should say. So Craig's going to be hoping for a quick yellow to help his chances out. But race here going to be for the win here. Jim Brooks again gets things going. Not a huge gap over Matt Wagner. But now, say Matt's going to have to fight with Harry Wills, David Payton there behind him. So, say again, I think if you're that 76 car, as I say that, you see the 27 car, he spun out trying to get things going. So he went ahead and had to take a quick tow. So he stayed green. That's unfortunately going to cost him some more laps there. So that's actually going to have Eric Schaus jump him back in the points as we have 5 to go here. Alright, so I say, I mean, yeah, if you're Matt Wagner, you know you're going to have to make it happen on the top side. I say, if you're Jim, you just got to make sure you don't make any mistakes. Keep it pinned to the inside. Don't let anybody sneak under you. I say, you pretty much don't even want to leave a car with there. As you see, actually washes up a little bit. It's going to slow Matt's progress here. And I think that's going to allow the fight for second place to help his chances just a little bit potentially, as we're going to come across here with 3 to go. As you see, Harry Wills just touched the apron there, but able to hang on to it somehow.
Yeah, and he actually, he had a pretty good run through that turn, but it looked like he had to back off because he was about to get under Matt Wagner, but I don't think he was going to be able to control it.
So Matt was able to get to the side pod of Jim Brooks, but couldn't progress any further. Also, a big battle there for 2 laps down between James Levin and Eric Schaus. That would be a potential lucky dog spot. However, if you're the leaders here, you're probably just wanting to get to this white flag, so we'll see if they can get around here through 3 and 4, and that would give them the white flag. As you can see, Matt Wagner trying to get as close to the drive as he can. He tries to peek the inside. Jim's not going to give it to him, though. As we do get the white flag, this will be the final time around here at Dover. Matt Wagner going to try to see if he can find a last-ditch effort to make something happen here. He's got to try to keep that 76 pinned down, maybe lose a little bit of speed. We'll see what they do for 3 and 4.
And we got David Payton sneaking into it here, as well as, was that Joe Fierro?
Yeah, you're right. And actually, I missed something because in all that craziness, I somehow didn't see the 19 of Harry Wills. He had something happen. He winds up actually in the pits now. However, after it's all said and done, though, Jim Brooks going to get the win here at Dover. So he wins from the pole, but definitely was not as easy as it seemed. So he had to work his way forward. Had a little bit of luck, obviously, with that crash getting through there as the leader when those top 4 are so wrecked. But I have a feeling if you're that 76 car, you're okay. You're going to take it any way you can. Get the win here. He's going to try to get that quick do some celebrating as Eric Schaus sneaks up by. He's going to lose his rear wing, but he won't care. He's going to keep celebrating in that car. Get in the win here tonight at Dover. But again, just unfortunate with the way this track is shaped, it's hard to do burnouts here without going down the banking.
Hopefully that won't cost any incident points. So that was a good finish, and it kind of played out as far as their difficulty in passing, like you were describing. I guess from the last time they were here, it was really really hard to pass.
Yeah, it seemed like the top line definitely had some more abilities tonight, but just still wasn't quite enough. It seemed like you really needed a long run to make it happen. With those short runs at the end, just couldn't quite happen. I kind of joking. Steve was like, I'm thinking is like I know that that second place interview is gonna be a rough one because let's say again he's been so close so many times, and again he's gonna get another second place finish, and like I say, it's just for whatever reason, the just luck has not worked out for Matt Wagner for tonight. But again, it's still a great result for him. He is going to chop down the points lead a little bit as well, even with those missed races. So say we'll pull up our top three, and so just give us one moment, and we'll get things lined up here. All right, so we're going to start with our third place finisher here. David Payton started eighth, finishes third. That was a wild one tonight. I'll say. I mean, take us through your race. That you had kind of a few times you were kind of off strategy. Let's say, don't take it the wrong way. We kind of questioned at one point when you stayed out, even when you're on older tires, but you're able to kind of move your way forward at the end, at least get back up to that third spot. But I mean, just how I say, how I guess the question would be like, how white knuckled racing was that for you here?
Well, I'm still waiting for the feeling to come back in my fingers, if that has anything to do with it. It was a handful. It was scary. But well, what I've learned so far this year with this new tire is that tire wear doesn't play as big of a role in lap times as tire temperature does. So I was confident that staying out and getting me the track position to try and get in front of the Rex was the right move, and I think it worked out well. But it was just a really tough race. The car got really loose, really fast. It was good for like 5 laps, and then it fell off a cliff, and it was hard to. It was almost, most of the work was just trying to keep the car straight.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it. And saying so, it's one thing you're kind of having to just battle the car itself, and then of course then you're trying to battle with all these cars just not even feet apart from each other while going 200 miles an hour. So I mean, I'll say it kind of explains the feeling in your hand situation because I was just watching. I mean, I was kind of tensed up on my end as well because that was definitely pretty wild. And I know at the beginning of the race, drivers talking about the cars were kind of getting a little bit hot potentially if where you were on track. I don't know if it was maybe with the draft and everything like that. Did you have any overheating experiences, or was it able to keep it pretty cool temp wise?
No, it was like right on the line, around 255 degrees on the water, somewhere in that neighborhood, which is a bit high. And I know they made some changes with that too, with this new build, that the motor would lose some power if you kept it hot for too long. So I was trying to manage it by just using, switching between fifth and sixth gear to try and keep the RPMs down and getting clean air as much as I could. But that was tough to do here. But so yeah, there was temperature issues and the handling issues. But again, a lot of big changes to this car, and it's going to take time for the admins and the setup guys and to really get a handle on all of it. So no harping on them. I like I always say, they do a great job, and I appreciate all the work they do. It was just tonight was a handful. So
Yeah, so I think even with a really good setup, say Dover with these cars, obviously going to be I say a handful no matter what. But you're right though. I mean this new change has definitely really played a kind of thrown a wrench into things with the new damage model and with everything like that. So it's definitely made it a little bit trickier. And we saw some cars with the new damage model having the contact and trying to recover from that, and just trying to limp those cars back to the pits and things of that nature. So I'm trying to remember because there's so much going on. I'll say on your side of the race, were you able to have a clean race, or did you have some recovery drives yourself?
oh no, I used both both. We had two fast repairs tonight instead of one. I used them both plus a front wing, so I had a plenty of bangs and dings. Couple, I think maybe one of them was driver error on my own part, and then the other two were just me in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, you had that one scare coming off of, I think it was turn 2, where you kind of washed up into the wall, and Eric Stouts was right behind you, and he did the same thing, and it looked pretty painful.
Steve, that's exactly that. I don't know what's going on with my mic here. That's exactly the one that I'm talking about. I got to go back and look at it still. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I drove myself into the wall. It like everything happened so quick. I mean, I was fighting with Charles and having fun racing for the lead, and next thing you know, I just drove myself into the wall, and I kind of felt like I just turned myself into the wall. I don't really know what happened, and so I think that was mostly my fault, combined with some things happening really, really quick up front. But yeah, that was definitely one where I had to use a fast repair, and I got saved by a yellow that came out. I mean, I was on the lead up to pit road, and the yellow came out, and I just took a hard right back onto the track and stayed out, and then came around again and used my last fast repair.
Yeah, so
So it definitely had to feel good to have worked your way back up to third.
I definitely wasn't expecting a top three. I was just hoping to finish the race on the lead lap, to be honest with you.
well,
Go
I
ahead,
say you
Brandon.
definitely succeeded in that one, David. Yeah, I mean, like you said, definitely a challenging one tonight, but definitely want to give you the floor though if there's any thanks shouts you'd like to give for that third place run tonight.
Yeah, I'll mention Charles Johnson first. I'm sure you guys know he had to step down. We got an announcement on January 1st that he's no longer going to be an admin due to some real life stuff going on. So, and I didn't, I haven't been around too long, but long enough to know that Charles and Jim and a lot of these guys, they put in a lot of work, and leagues in iRacing wouldn't exist if there weren't guys like them willing to donate their free time to create a place for us to come and compete. So thank you to Charles and all the work that he's done, and Jim for stepping up and taking over the main adminning stuff here. And thank you to my future wife Natalie, who tonight is busy putting stamps on save the dates for our wedding later this year, so she didn't have time to make me hot chocolate. But I think I'm going to keep this trend going because it seems to be working. The less that she makes hot chocolate, the better I'm getting.
Sounds like a good plan. I say, and again, I say, and obviously, congratulations on that. Definitely an exciting time for you guys coming up. So, yeah, I say congrats on the third. I say enjoy that one. I say I'm sure we'll be catching you again here in this soon. But yeah, I say great run tonight, David, and we'll chat with you here again hopefully soon.
Yep, great job, David.
So thank you guys.
All right, so now we got to pull up our second place finisher, who I know is not going to be happy about that result. As I say, we've unfortunately had far too many second place interviews with this guy. So again, it's only a matter of time before he gets his first win here. And honestly, it seems like every race it's been just a matter of circumstance. Tonight, I think it's just maybe the pit strategy just didn't work out in his favor tonight. There's been some other races where it seems like it was in the bag and just somehow, some way, there was going to be a way to screw it up. But I'll say, Matt, and again, I know you don't like these second place interviews, but again, I mean, a really good run for you tonight. Obviously, had to run a little bit off strategy here and there to be able to kind of try to do that track strategy, track position game. But I mean, take us through what your game plan was, and if and what you could have done differently there at the end.
Honestly, I wouldn't have done anything different. I was trying to play the fuel strategy game and trying to get people to, play the pit strategy games, and just didn't work out in my favor. Well, was it lap 72? Then we had that big pile up in the first through fifth, and once I got second place, and Jim was up there, I knew he was going to be hard to pass. I was okay on fuel, but unfortunately, the car that was running behind me ran out. That's why you saw him sag back. I was just chatting with him. Pretty
Okay,
nice
yeah,
guy.
we were wondering what happened to Harry. Okay.
Yeah, he ran out of fuel.
No, that makes sense. And see, I was noticing one thing. You were one of the few drivers that you really made that kind of that top to bottom move work really well, where you'd use the high side, kind of duck down, get the momentum up. But I'd say, unfortunately, so you could get kind of to the side pod, but that's about where everything kind of just got stagnant, unfortunately. Where and say is one of the things like if you were gonna try to make a move, you'd have to be super aggressive and get to the inside. If you maybe catch the leader sleeping a little bit on there. So say, was that what your plan was? Is just try to see if you could use the momentum to your advantage? Because there was a few times it worked, but it seemed like it was when the tires and fuel were kind of on the lower end of what they were left on them.
I made a nice little adjustment on the car with about 40 to go, and I just went up on the rear, and it handled like a dream, as it wasn't loose like everybody else was fighting, and I wasn't going to tell anybody what a adjustment I made, and that top to bottom was working, but I was worried about the cars that were behind me. See if I sagged back enough, I was going to allow the third place guy to catch up on me, and it wasn't going to work.
Yeah, that's what Steve and I were talking about too, where you had the you could get to the outside and maybe try to put a little bit of pressure on the leader, but as soon as you do that, you open up the door for a counterattack from whoever's in third. They can kind of sneak underneath you, and so just kind of between a rock and a hard place, pretty much there, where you either kind of stay around the leader, hope they make a mistake, or try to put a pressure on them. But then you, like you said, you get kind of pinned to the outside there. So like you said, you're kind of in a tough situation there, but again, still, I mean, a really good run. Obviously, not the end result you're hoping for, but again, another solid run. Let's say, so again, you missed the 2 races, but you're going to be closing the gap again a little bit over those top 2. Let's say they both finished in looks like 9th and 10th respectively, after getting caught up in a couple incidents towards the end of that one. So I'll be curious to see if that's enough to be able to kind of close that gap. Depending on how things go, obviously I think it's final 4 races after tonight.
Yeah, I didn't realize how, as you mentioned that, I didn't know how close I was in the points. I was so more focused of trying to get a win in these, 4 second place finishes, or just, God, it just, I just want to, get it over with. So, but I appreciate everybody here. It's been fun tonight. Second place, I'll take it.
Yeah, so again, a great result, Matt. Say it's only a matter of time. And actually, I want to say next week we're gonna be at Watkins Glen. So say I know that's gonna be when that's in your alley as well. So say maybe getting away from these ovals will be just the trick you need to help your cause.
It could be, but I'm worried about one guy and one guy only, and that was the guy who was running third. You better watch out for him next race, because he's going to join up. Harry, he's pretty good at road, so we'll see you guys at Watkins Glen. Thank you, 51. Steve,
Good job tonight, Matt.
Yeah, man, I give my all. Just wasn't good enough.
It was close, man.
Yeah, great job tonight, though, Matt.
Thanks, man.
All right, that is our second place finisher, Matt Wagner. So again, saying he's right. This was his 4th second place finish in the season here. So I mean, pretty much, I think he's had all but one race in the top 5. So I think it's just a matter of time before he gets that win. However, so I got to pull up our race winner though. Started from the pole, gets the win. Obviously, not a walk in the park by any means, but able to get yourself in the right place at the right time. I say obviously some skill to get the pole, to keep yourself up front there, and then a little bit of luck obviously with getting through that big crash in the backstretch with a lot of the lead pack cars, then able to hold off that charging 99 at the end to get the win tonight. So I'll say take us through the craziness that was Dover tonight.
Yeah, it was crazy, all right, but it's a fun track. That's one of my favorites. Setup was really tough. It was loose-ish, and then it got really loose as longer in the run you went. And I'm glad I learned early when Charlie Teed passed me there for the lead. I didn't really challenge him or fight him, but he snuck in low on me. And I know Matt really well, and I've had that happen before in another race where I let somebody in. So those last 15 laps, 18 laps, it's like there's no way in the world I was going to let him inside, even though it was getting looser and looser and harder to keep it pinned down. But yeah, you're right about that big crash. I got really lucky not to be involved in that, and took out some competition. So that certainly helped.
Yeah, was there anything that obviously don't give away secrets, but were you able to make any adjustments to try to help that car rotate a little bit, or maybe rotate a little less well, I guess you would say, to make it feel a little bit more comfortable as the run went on?
I had it maxed out from the drop of the green flag. I had 1 in 6 and -20 on the weight jacker, and I ran that the whole time and didn't touch it.
No, so I mean, obviously it worked out pretty well. So there's a few times where you kind of had yourself in an awkward situation, and saying it looked like there was times where you kind of just rolled out of it because you're like, okay, like you've got. I mean, like Steve and I were saying, it was almost like a plate race, pretty much at times at this track. It's like if you're the leader, you got about a lap or two of breathing room, and then once that draft brings everybody right back into the mix, I'd say it was obviously a pretty tough position to be in there.
Yeah, no, for a while, there was a couple of times that I didn't really push it and just tried to follow the people ahead of me and just, log laps and try to get farther along. And then with the wreck, that kind of fell to me nicely. And then I didn't, pitting was a bit of a question mark. I was afraid to pit too soon or too late. So it seemed like that worked out all right.
Yeah, strategy seemed like overall it worked really well. Like you said, early on, the '05 got around you for the lead, but saying that's where you learned to kind of like, okay, gotta really protect that bottom once you have that opportunity. Let's say, were you worried at all about Matt with you could kind of, I don't know if you saw it from your mirrors now, but we were kind of talking to him about the high to low movements that he was doing to try to build that momentum on the exit. Was that something you were looking at or worrying about at all?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, I was trying to go up in the straightaways a little bit to keep him a little higher going into the corner, and then turn down and then just pin it all the way down, so that when he did come down and try to get the run on me, there was nowhere for him to go. And a couple of times he got close, but I was able to keep it close enough where he couldn't get in without crashing me.
So any comments or thoughts on your side, Steve, for him?
No, you just you covered it really well, but we were both remarking, those last probably 5 or 10 laps, that you were going to have to keep it low to keep Matt from getting underneath you, and we could definitely see what he was doing because he was getting a lot of momentum off the turns. And I know if I'd been in your position, I would have been a little bit nervous and really white knuckling it every time I came off the turn.
Yeah, I was white knuckling the whole race. My hands are tired. I mean, it took a lot. The car was a challenge, and it took everything you had to handle it, which made it fun. I mean, it's not just point and shoot. That you had to drive it, and then I think that's why I like the track, because you work hard and you get usually a good result unless somebody messes you up. But yeah, no, I was watching my mirror as much, if not more, than ahead of the car that last 10 laps.
Yeah, I would have been too.
Yeah, so again, congrats on the win. I say obviously, like you said, always fun to win one of your favorite tracks as well. So I say enjoy that one. Saying next week, start getting your. Well, I say I know you did some practice last night with the '01 IR01 cars, but you say you gotta get ready to get some lefts and rights under your belt here, not too far away.
Yeah, next week it sounds like, I think it's Watkins Glen, or I'm not sure. I think we're in there.
Yeah, Watkins Glen next week.
I give a shout out to Charles Johnson. He's got busy working these days, so we miss him, and hopefully he gets back with us. But he's got work comes first, so miss him, and hope to see him soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, definitely. I'll say that was gonna be the next thing is to give you give you the opportunity for any thanks and shout outs, but I think you beat me to the punch there.
Yeah, and thank you and Steve for covering it. It's great to have the broadcasting and just help get the Area 51 name out there a little bit.
So it's fun to be, and like Steve said, and it's a fun to be a part of. You guys put on a lot of fun races. Sorry for the yelling in the background. So I was like, enjoy the win, and we'll definitely be catching you here, hopefully in the future races.
Yeah, congrats on that, Jim. It's really, really nice to see you finally finish up there.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Yeah, it's first one this season. I'm getting harder. Yeah, guy, I'll tell my granddaughter hi.
Will do. I'll have her interview you next time.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, so that's our race winner, the number 76 of Jim Brooks. However, though, we got to pull through our final race results for tonight's event. So getting the win is that 76 of Jim Brooks over Matt Wagner by just over half a tenth. David Payton third, Joe Fiero in fourth, Corey Lane fifth, Dwight Plesh in sixth. Unfortunately, Harry Wills falls but to seventh place after running out of fuel at the end. I think he had a third place pretty much in the bag without that. James Ledford able to hold off Eric Schatz for that eighth position. Saying obviously Eric then in 9th, and Craig Forsyth saw all that suspension damage. Steve, he still is able to come home with a 10th position. I think going to lose a little bit on the point side to Eric there, but as they could have been a lot worse. Say really it kind of swung from one way to the other, and then wind up right back in the middle after all is all said and done. 11th through 20th here, though, we have Bud Steele, Jack Walls, Michael Spell, Taylor Lane, Gary Corley, Charles T. John Brill, Benjamin Combs, Ivan Plott, and Jason Bridges. Say a lot of those drivers unfortunately caught up in incidents during the race. Obviously, the main one being that big incident towards the end of the race that caught up a lot of our leaders. So that's where unfortunately some of those drivers got caught up in the back here. Alright, with that though, that is going to do it for us here with Green White Checker TV with Area 51 Racing League Indy Series. Be back again on Thursday though for the Cup Cars at Darlington. Hope you all have a wonderful evening and look forward to catching you again later on this week. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, hope you all had a happy new year. I'm sure for some it's not going to be very fun getting back to reality. But yeah, so say until Thursday though, please again, if you can, try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, and have a good night.
Happy New Year, everyone.